Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Benjamin, and welcome to part 5 for our Godot 3 platformer series. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up an auto tile in Godot 3. By the end of the video, you'll have an auto tile map like this, where you can click and you see when I'm doing this, it automatically creates tiles in those places. And then we'll also have collisions set up so that when you run the game, that your player will be able to collide with the tile sets that you just set up. So let's get started. A small disclaimer here. Well, first of all, you'll need to download a sprite resource for the auto tile. It'll be called Jungle Grass Auto Tile, even though it's not grass. Maybe I'll have it renamed, but yeah, download the sprite that'll be in the description. That's the sprite we're going to be using. And then the other little disclaimer here is that, here's the project here. This process is a little bit fiddly still. So it's not quite perfect yet. It's a newer feature in Godot 3, and I think they're still kind of polishing the features, the best way to put it. So open up your project, and once you get that sprite file, drag and drop it into your project folder. I'm going to put mine under sprites and then under tiles. So then you should have it here like this. I might actually rename it if it'll let me do that. So let's name it Jungle. Let's just name it Dirt Auto Tile 3x3. Rename. Okay, re-imported it. I can actually delete this one now. Well, I don't know. Maybe you'll want that still. It has some grass and stuff that you could potentially use. So, okay, so we've got our tile. So you're going to delete. I already did this, unfortunately, when I was doing it. But you're going to right-click on both your dirt tile set, not the sprite, but remember the resource that we had created before. You're going to right-click on those and delete them both. The tile set .tres and the tile set scene. Technically, you don't have to delete them, so it's fine if you don't. But I deleted mine, and you can see in my world now there's no tile sets. It's just the player and the world complete node. So then we're going to create a new scene, and we're going to add a base node to this, and we'll just call this Dirt Auto Tile. And you can click on that and come to your tiles and drop our sprite into the world. Make sure that you import it correctly. So if you have to re-import it, click on Import and then select a preset, select 2D Pixel. Re-import it so that it's nice and pixelated and not blurry. And then click on this. We're going to set centered to false. So uncheck centered on your sprite. And under transform, make sure it's set to 0, 0. Save this scene as dirtautotile.tscn. And then I'm going to convert to tile set. dirtautotile.tres. Okay, now we can close out of this scene, come into world 1, and if we come back into our resources folder up here, we should have our dirtautotile.tres. So then we're going to add a new tile map node, tile map. We're going to drag over our dirt auto tile, put it right there. You can see. Then under cell, not under cell. When you click on the tile set right here inside of our tile map, so click on that. It's going to open up a new window, and here under 0, there's one called Is Auto Tile. We're going to click yes. And then that should add this little tab down here once you've clicked is Autotile. That should add this little tab down here called Autotiles. Click on that. And you can see now we've got an Autotile window, and we can select a, let's come into icon. We can select an icon. So we're going to select this one right here because that's a great one for our icon. Now we're going to go into bit mask. Oh, so this is important too. Bit mask mode should be set to 3 by 3. So that's important. And then tile size 64, spacing 0, because this is a 3 by 3 auto tile for the bit mask mode. Okay, now once you've selected the bit mask tab right here, you can just start drawing in these. And you're going to draw them only where it's dark, so don't draw on the edges. Okay, and you need to use this exact layout for your auto tile. There might be other layouts you can use, but this is the one that I was able to get working, so yeah, I know this one works. So this right here doesn't take too long, honestly, to do this. It's pretty quick. But you have to make sure that you set it up exactly the same way that I do. And you're just going to color in all of the dark. Oops. Don't get those corners. Those corners are the ones that'll get you. Oops, got a corner again. Okay, and I'm double checking it right here. Everything looks good. Your pattern should be exactly the same as mine. If you missed a single square like that, the auto tile won't work. So that's important. Okay, so we should be able to save now. Click on tile map and we should get working auto tile. Perfect. So this doesn't have collisions yet though. So if we run our game, you're going to see our player is going to fall right through this. It's not going to work. That's not what we want. So how do we set up the collisions for this? Let's get working on that. I'm just going to set up a little bit of a level here. Let's do that. There we go. Okay. So collisions. This was the tricky part for me. So click on tile map again. Click on the tile set, dirt auto tile. Bring up the inspector a little bit more. Okay. Click on auto tiles. And you'll see there's a spot for collisions here, but you don't want to start creating your collisions yet because you need to set a collision shape. Well, first of all, you also need to come into the tile map and under collision, set use kinematic. I think we might not actually need that. Let's test it without it. So let's try it without that first. So let's go into tiles, tile map, and click on the dirt tile set and then click on collision. Now we need to create a shape. So click right here and we're going to use a new convex polygon shape 2D. So click on that. So once you've assigned a shape, then you can start creating your collisions. And this process is a little bit tedious, I'm not going to lie. But once it's set up, it will be worth it because you'll be able to create levels very quickly. So I'm going to just bring this up here. And then you need to see it created a little collision up here in the corner on this tile. That's terrible. We do not want one there. So just press this trash can to delete it. Then we're gonna do this kind of column at a time. I'll click on this one right here and make sure you have this snap checked on right here so we get snapping, and 64 by 64 is probably fine like that. Okay, once you've set up the collision, it should be yellow like that, and then you can do the next one. And you can do the next one. I do wish there was a hotkey because once you finish the first collision, it switches to this automatically, so you can immediately click the next one. But then you have to come up and click this. If there was a hotkey for this, it would be a lot faster. But you can see it's not too bad. And we don't actually have to do every single one either. We only have to do the ones with an outside edge, which is admittedly still a lot of them, but we don't have to do any of these, so that's good. Okay. Got these ones done. There's actually quite a few over here we don't have to do, so it gets faster once we get through this first part. But yeah, there are just a few little things that I could see in this where it could be polished still. But like this is, as far as I know, this feature was pretty new. It's it's kind of like a last minute addition a little bit. Not last minute, that's probably a little bit extreme wording there, but it was definitely very recently added to the engine. And so it still feels a little bit like there's some areas that could be improved in the process for getting it set up. But once you do get it set up, it's really nice. And the setup makes it the benefit that you get out of the setup makes it worth the process for setting it up, even if it's a little bit tedious. So now we just do these top ones over here. You don't have to worry about any of the ones that just have corners. Only a tile with an edge needs a collision. And we're really close here. See, if there's a hotkey for that, I could do this about twice as fast. Oops, dang it. Oops, now wait, did I unclick it? No, I'm working okay. Okay, that worked, I guess. Hopefully. And I'm just clicking each corner here. And maybe there's a way to make this process faster that I don't know about. That's possible too. It's relatively new, so there's not a lot of information on it. Okay, once you're done, it should look like this. You can save again. And hopefully you created this first, because if you didn't create the shape first, then none of this is going to work. Okay, save again, click on our tile map, and try running the game. We may need to set uses kinematic. I don't know. Nope, doesn't look like we do. And you can see this is now working. So let's create another one inside of our world 2. Once it's all set up, you can just add the tile map, drag over your dirt autotile.tres, and put it in the room. Let's do maybe some up here. Something like this. That looks pretty cool. Save the game. Load errors again. Run the game. And we're working. And all the collisions seem to be working correctly. Sweet. Now, if you got any sort of an error when you collided with your room complete, world complete, it might mean that one of your world scenes has a dependency issue from deleting the old tile set. So just make sure that you get rid of, like I said at the start, if you just delete both the old tile maps and the tile set and the scene, that can help with that a little bit. So you don't have a dependency issue. They're not hard to solve even if you do have one, but you just need to open up the scene and fix it. Tell Godot, basically, Godot doesn't know where the file is because you deleted it. So it's like, where is this file? It was used in the scene. And you just basically can tell it to ignore that and then delete the tile map. Okay. Now we're going to do one last thing here real fast. I'm going to open up the player scene. We're going to do a basic, very simple camera. It's not going to be advanced at all, but I did want to show you guys how to set up a basic one. So just come to your player scene. In the player scene, click on player, add a new node, add a camera 2D. Now the most important part of this that I'm going to tell you right now is that you need to set current. Make sure you check current. That will enable this camera. Then I usually turn off drag margins as well. We can save the game, run it again. Where's my run button? Right here. And now we have a basic camera following our player as well. So it's a very, very simple camera, but it's you know, that's so easy to do. It's ridiculous. So then as one last thing that we're going to do here before I end the video, we're going to add a new background. So if you come into your backgrounds, well, there's going to be a sprite in the description for this as well. So let me come into my resources here and drag in this sprite. Okay. Drag it in, we'll put it in sprites. And then we'll put it, that's fine. We'll just leave it right there in sprites. And we'll come to our player. And we'll add a new layer on our player. And for this, we're going to add a parallax background. It's under canvas layer. And all we need to do is attach our sprite, our sky sprite to this, so we can just drop it in the room. And I think it needs to be, both of them need to be at 0, 0. So let's try that here. Make sure your so this transform, turn off centered, and then set your position to 0, 0. And actually, we might give it a little bit of offset. We'll see what that looks like. But parallax background, a sprite of the sky underneath the background. Did it import? It's blurry, you can see it's blurry. So let's go to import, presets, 2D pixel, re-import. There we go. And then run the game. And there you go. The background follows the player exactly. And maybe that's not what you want, but this is a simple way to set it up. So let's give it a little bit of offset. And by offset, I mean just like position-wise, not actually how it follows the player. You could mess around with the parallax settings here if you want to try and get that to work. Like if you set your base offset, what's the canvas layer? Like what if we do 0.5 and 0.5 here? Does it follow the player at half the speed? This won't work though because our background isn't infinite, so we'll have issues, but no, it doesn't seem to do that. So maybe it's because I made it a child of the player. I don't know if that's why. Either way, we'll just set this back to 1, 1. Wait, it was 0, 0, wasn't it? Yeah. And then we'll come back into our sky and we'll set our Y offset to -64. Let's try -128. No, 64. There we go. Run the game again. And like I said, this is a very simple simple background solution and a very simple camera, but it does get you started. And I might go into more detail about cameras and setting up stuff for cameras later, but this is a great way to get you guys started. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I honestly feel like the auto tiling was tricky to figure out, but once I finally did get it figured out, it's really cool and it works very well. Thank you guys so much again, and I will see you guys later.